Hi, this is Shy, and I am coming to you with Life Skills 101. I apologize if the video is not in the best context because I just had some difficulties and but guess what? We're going to go ahead and get started. So, Life Skills 101, I'm going to talk about what that is and how this can help you and someone that you know. So, Life Skills 101 is about creating new habits that become your new way of life. Depending on the area you're applying the habit to, this may be easy or challenging. As we grow in life, it is common for us to change as people, which connects to our habits. Often feeling renewed and free causes new beliefs and hopes in one's ability. There's excitement to welcome all the positive life has to offer. Then life reminds us that we have work to do to obtain our new goals, which will bring about new habits. A plan is necessary. Part of the plan is creating healthy thinking patterns. No one wants new shoes with a worn sole. How we think has a lot to do with change. Changing our thinking pattern and perception is the first step to starting new. In this upcoming text, it will explain how your thinking and perception can change. So, the first part of this workshop, this training, is called Free Yourself. So, talk about life skills because there's a number of things that just go under that, like how do we function with the day to day. So, freeing yourself. In this segment of the lesson, you will learn practical tools and tips to become the new you. You are the most important component to creating positive habits, thinking healthier, and accomplishing your goals. I'm going to sit right there for a minute. You are the most important part. Yes, we think about family, kids, and et cetera, et cetera. However, you are the most important part because you are the person that's wanting to get the help, learn the concepts, be able to apply them so that in everything else that you're attached to gets the best version of you. So first things first, you are the most important part, most important component. And so I'm going to go ahead and start with just some general information. Psychologists generally define forgiveness as a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance towards a person or group who has harmed you. Regardless of whether they actually deserve forgiveness, forgiveness does not mean forgetting, nor does it mean condoning or excusing the offenses. However, forgiveness is not only for others, it's for you as well. Forgiving yourself will free you. So, if you know any of my teachings and trainings, I always start with the foundation. So, um, we can want to learn something willingly. We can want to learn how to do something forcefully. We can learn how to want to learn something because it just showed up. In order for you to get past that, you got to be able to learn whatever that is. So, the reason for me, forgiveness is a part of this because oftentimes we look to be forgiven, but once you ask someone for their forgiveness, um, you ask someone to forgive you, or someone asks you to forgive them. The person we often forget about is ourselves. So it's like, cool, they forgave you, you forgave them. But do you forgive yourself? Because those experiences that you have can keep you stuck unconsciously. Like you will not understand, why do I keep doing this, ended up in this cycle? Why do I get so far? Why do I start off great? Whatever. A month in, I'm right back at square one. You're the most important component to this thing called life. So, have you forgiven yourself for whatever, for things that you've done, things that people did to you that left a residue? What I mean by that is you have no control over if you were put in a situation. You have no control over if somebody rapes you. That's a situation. But in our psyche, sometimes the mind plays with us and says, well, you shouldn't have went there, you shouldn't have wore that, you should have known. Or because of all the shame that comes with, it gets internalized, and then we come up with this pre-notion in our head that now everybody is judging us, we feel worthless because we've just been violated. So have we forgiven ourselves? Like, forgive yourself for being hard on yourself, forgive yourself for making you be accountable for things you had no control over. So, whatever area and whatever type of forgiveness you need to give yourself, have you been able to do that? And if not, you want to be able to take the moment to forgive that. If you were a parent and you was not doing the greatest in life, so your kids got taken away from you, you did what you needed to do, got your kids back, but that just still sits with you that for however long you were not there for them, you were not able to make an impact. You was out here doing your own thing, but have you forgiven yourself from that? And so it doesn't show up in how you're even parenting. Those same fears and things that you went through, now subconsciously you're putting that off on the kids because you don't want them to make the mistakes that you did. Like, have you forgiven yourself? Always remember at the beginning and end of the day that we are all human. And no matter the place in life you're in, born with a silver spoon in your mouth or not, we all have a journey in this thing called life. And it does not always come easy. Life is what it is. We have seen through mainstream media people that look like they have everything together committing suicide. You know what I mean? Families hit tragically, and because they're in the public eye, you're able to see a glimpse of that. How they're mourning, what's going on, and you're imagining the weight of what they're experiencing and what they're going through. So keep in mind, no one is exempt for this. But to be able to take on the new responsibilities, you want to be lightweight. You want to be free in all aspects of the words free. You don't want to be holding yourself in bondage, even if people have forgiven you, moved on, have told you over and over again, but you have not forgiven yourself. So that is a key component with starting your new journey. So the question that I propose is, why have you not forgiven yourself? If that's you, why have you not forgiven yourself? I have 3 questions down. Shame, you didn't know you could forgive yourself, or you're just unsure. Like, sometimes we've done things that feel so bad, and we kind of hold it against ourselves. Like, okay, I can move forward in life, but just this right here, I'm not going to even ask for forgiveness. I'm not going to. It's just so bad. How do I know? I'm talking from experience. So why is it that you have not forgiven yourself? Was that even a thought? Um, and then of course there's the option for other. So you've been enlightened, or it's been brought from a different perspective. Are you ready to forgive yourself? And this is a real question because forgiving yourself um, begins to structure the foundation of the newness of you, the real you, not just parts of you, but all of you. And so, are you ready to forgive yourself? Yes, maybe you're unsure. You have something else to that, but those are very key components with dealing with things in life. And I'm going to tie that into kind of one of the videos that I shared when I was promoting this, which is because we're talking about setting a foundation. So whether you had to start over from scratch, because you were irresponsible. And what put in the category of irresponsible, you had you just made poor decisions, you had an addiction, um, you in been dealing with your own things, depressions, like whatever that may be that has caused you to have to start over, you to have to rebuild. But this time, you want to do it the right way. You don't want to repeat the same cycles. You want to destroy and break some cycles. And so it can be scary, treading into new territory. Like you don't know what to expect, you don't know what to think, you just know it needs to be done. And so I'm going to do it. But oftentimes, what I see is the goal in the concept is great. It is 100% great. But you have to break it down so that one, it doesn't consume you, it's not overwhelming, you don't um, put an unrealistic time frame on yourself. And especially if you're someone that deals with anxiety, you want to plan. You want to plan. That's going to be necessary. And so, um, just to give an example of that. So, because of the field I work in, I see on the regular all of the things that parents have to do that want to get their children back. On average, they're going to 2 and 3 classes. In between that, they're trying to make sure they work, keep a roof over their head, or find a place to live, visit the child in the interim, get individual counseling that they need. They have all this stuff they need to do. You go somewhere and they say, these are the 7 things you need to do. And this needs to be done in 6 months. So you know it's 7 things that need to be done in 6 months. And so what the average person does, they try to take all 7 things and tackle them at the same time, but in different ways. Well, this class is every week on Tuesdays. I can do this class on Tuesday, and that class is every week on Thursday. So I'm gonna do that class. So now I'm going to class Tuesday and Thursday, and then on um, Friday, whatever, I'm going to do my individual counseling, but then I have a job. So then from my job, I really can't take off all these days or these times and the way that these classes are. So I need to figure something out. So already just me even explaining that is a lot. So being able to see, what do I need to do? Let me write down, what do I need to do? Okay, I need to do A, B, C, and D. What is the time frame on each one of them? Are they all the same? Is it can be done in 2 weeks? And that's something that I can really do because I have a little bit more time to do A and C. You get what I'm saying? So allowing yourself to have some control, some input in the things that you can't control, because life is still going to go on, it's going to happen. And in the interim of you doing what you have seen is necessary for you to do to move forward, grow, elevate, start this new thing, whatever it is for you, life is going to happen in between. To share with that, it actually came to me today as I was driving home. So I was already on the verge of getting back into just my thing is helping women and young ladies. So then I was like, man, I really want to go back to school. Well, I'm thinking about this stuff. I'm not sharing it with anybody. It's just, I'm just thinking, I'm preparing. And at the end of the year, 2016, my mom passed. So then now I'm dealing with all that in life. But I'm supposed to register and start for school in the winter session, which starts in March. But hey, life just happened. And on top of wanting to go to school, now because of how I'm feeling angry, I'm trying to deal with this loss. So now I'm in counseling. So now when it went from just living regular life, dealing with the death of a loved one, how do I balance that with the new? thing that I want to really start and do, but now I really need to take care of myself. So I really have to sit down and look at, what does that look like? Can I do all of this right now? What's the priority on this list? So, and I'm gonna go back a little bit. So doing the work first to free yourself up. Let me kick out anything that I need to kick out. Let me make sure I'm A-okay. So when I start this new journey, I'm good. I'm good because life is going to happen, but I don't need to keep allowing life to happen in the same area when I have the ability to change that. So that's what I mean about just freeing yourself, whatever that is. Be clear with yourself when you are starting something. Where are you at? What's realistic and ideal for yourself? How are you feeling? And what do you need to release in order to be able to get what you need? So I hope that's making sense. I don't know if you guys are able to leave comments or whatever, but if you can, please do, so that way I know. So at the end of the, this is what I'm going over. So if you would have emailed or registered, you would have had this paper right here, the materials. So at the end of the first page, there's a unscramble the word. And basically the emphasis of that is, again, you matter. You may have to do all this stuff. You may need to do all this stuff, but keep in mind that you matter. You're the star player. And even when or if you are quote unquote forced to do something because of choices and decisions or just life happening, or it's part of the process. Always factor in, you matter. You still have choices and decisions that you can make, and you can still make them in a timely manner, still meeting whatever, uh, that time clock is. So we often judge ourselves. Let's see how you rank on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 meaning negatively, and 5 positively. Are you judging yourself in a more negative or positive way? Perception. How are you perceiving yourself? Are you harder on yourself than the actual situation? And if so, why? And then that may go back to, have you forgiven yourself for what you need to forgive yourself for? It's easy to just go with the flow, to just keep moving, to not fully acknowledge something, because to fully acknowledge something, whether it's good or bad, you have to acknowledge, like, this really happened. So it's a real thing. And because this happened, this is how I feel. And because of how I feel, these are my actions because of it. That is a scary thing for a lot of people, to have to sit with reality, and especially if it's not just feel good, it's just life. Like, I have to sit with this and process this, and it's making me feel uncomfortable, it's making me feel mad, it's making me feel sad, it's making me feel angry. And sometimes our feelings are too big for us, so we internalize, then compartmentalize things, and then we just move forward, and not understanding that that stuff is in us, and it's showing up in our lives. It's showing up in our lives. So when I think about life skills, it's great because I got some tools and some tips, but to be able to break soil, to break the ground, so that that beautiful tree, which is you, can blossom and have its rebirth. We don't want to do the same things that we've done before. We don't want to take shortcuts. We don't want to put a band-aid. Um, when the cut is 4 or 5 inches deep. We got to go in there and dig some stuff out. We got to go in and sew up some stuff. So, which is where these questions are coming from. How do you view yourself? Now, this is a real answer. And again, some people, oh, I think myself, positive and stuff like that, and it's all good and yada yada yada. I have been a very confident person since I think it happened in like 7th grade. Now, before that, I actually used to get bullied when I was younger. Um, and I know if you really know me, it's hard to believe that, but I did. I used to get bullied, but I always had this voice. I would speak up, and that pretty much developed like later into elementary, going into junior high. So I felt like, what I'm saying? I done went from being, having low self-esteem and being bullied and things like that. Now, what I'm saying, I'm popping, what I'm saying, I'm part of the in crowd. I look at myself, I feel great. And then something happened one day. I was getting ready. So every single day, and I do this in one of my workshops, every single day we get ready, we look at ourselves in the mirror, some point in time. When I looked at myself in the mirror, I looked at myself in the mirror. I seen myself. I seen that person that the world was not seeing. I seen the hurt. I seen the frustration. I seen the uncertainty. I seen all that in just one moment. Been in the mirror, and I just took a look, and I seen myself. And tears just began to come down, and whatever was going on, it was a release. It was starting some healing, but I seen myself. I seen myself. I was able to acknowledge I am a person. I matter. I have the ability to say no. I have the ability to say yes. I have the ability to create. I have the ability to put in place boundaries. Like, I have that ability. And so, which light bulb went off, you start, perceiving things in a different light, start taking accountability. And that's what I mean by, how do you see yourself? Not when everything popping and when you in your titles of mom, co-worker, girlfriend, wife, whatever. Not when you in your titles. How do you see yourself at night when it's silent? And once those titles are stripped, who are you? How do you see yourself? That's what that question means. And then I put here, are you judging yourself fairly? Are you judging yourself fairly based on how you see yourself? And then it has, let's look at this from a different way. Write 3 positive things about yourself and 1 negative thing. Write 3 positive things about yourself and 1 negative thing. The reason why this is important is, one, it lets you see again how you view yourself. But sometimes people can't think of positive things to say about themselves. Sometimes it's hard to compliment yourself. For some people, it's not hard to compliment yourself, but you may not often give yourself a pat on the back. So that's where this comes in at. So I'm gonna pull out some key points. Key points when you have to uh, deal with something in life. You want to, one, write out what it looks like. What do you have to do? What do you have to do? When does it have to be done? And then how can you get it done? then how do you feel about what you have to do, the time frame you have to do it in, and how you have to get it done? We're so used to in life just going. And then one day we look up, we emotional, we're like, I don't know what's going on. I just feel like crying. That is your body and everything catching up to you saying, we tired, we overwhelmed. We just need a break. Can we get some me time? Can uh, like you know what I mean? So those are the key points. Don't we have these great ideas, and I'm saying we, me included. I've learned a lot. Like I've learned when I have a great idea, well, what does this really look like? What does this mean? How much time does this mean? Eh, Am I trying to execute this right now or for later on? So it's just all those different things to break away it like being overbearing. Even when it's something good, you can like rebranding and starting my business. That was exciting, but guess what? It was a lot. And in that, some decisions that I made, I felt like I had to make them on the spot because in one instance I was pressed for time, but then in another one, I'm like, I want to sit with this for a minute, but at the same time, I have a goal. So in one of them that I was like 85% sure um of the business name. And for a whole year or so when I worked it, the name just this doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. So I had to research. What do I have to do to stop the current before I even look at attempting to start the new? So again, it's life, it's a process, and because I broke it down in that way, it was not overwhelming. It went seamless because I had already thought out, planned out, knew what I needed to do, and I kept me in mind. Like I function well under pressure, but who wants to always function under pressure just because you do it well? Sometimes I want to sit this one out. Let me sit with this for a few days. Let me sit with this. And honestly, I sat with my new business name, Shymowright Personal Development and Consulting. I sat with that name before even uh, uh, putting it out there to anyone. I sat with that name for so long. I put it out there. I thought about it. I visualized it on business cards. Does this really embody everything that I do? And every time it came back, it was check, check, check. Even randomly today, I do that and it's check, check, check. So, key point number 4 does not verbally in there like that, but learn from the lessons. If you are going through a similar experience or a repeated experience, look at what you did before, consider what you're trying to do now. If that mimics what you tried to do in the past that didn't work, let's get some new tools and tips. Let's get some new stuff to be able to move forward in. So, again, this is the intro to Life Skills 101. There's a part 2. Uh, the first part of this is free yourself. There's a part 2 that I'm going to do speaking about value. And it would be more effective if you actually had the materials because you can follow along, or if you're writing this out, that works as well. But we want to, um, even when it feels like we have no say and no power in something, to understand that we do. Like you do, because it's you, the person that still have to do it. So you still have the power of choice, of choosing, of being, of showing up. So um, I'm just going to summarize what we just went over. When establishing your foundation, remember you. Anything that you need to, bad habits, um, assess if you have to, if you feel like you don't have a lot of time in your day, um, because that could be a lot of us. We feel like we don't have a lot of time in our day. We got so much we need to do. We work, we get home, we got school, like whatever, whatever. Assess what you're really doing in your day. That's gonna actually come up in a lesson, but start doing that now. Like, do you not have time, or you not utilizing the time you have now properly, effectively? So, life skills 101. This is the intro. Get this person together. Center, release anything you need to release. Um, have a talk with yourself about the habits you know that you need to stop and what that look like. Like, stop thinking that you have to do everything on yourself by yourself. Stop thinking that you only could get help from the people that know you. Stop thinking that you can only get help in the church. Stop thinking that you can only get help by following and conference hopping and things like that. Like, stop thinking that there's just one way to get help when you really haven't like set and diagnose yourself. Like, it's good to like look for a remedy, but if you don't really know what the real problem is, you just using all this stuff that has nothing to do with the problem. So that's like, let's figure us out and how whatever we have to do and experience is what that looks like for us, breaking it down, understanding that we still have power because we still have the ability to make choices, show up, not show up. We still have the power of choice. And then sit with this. How on a scale of 1 to 5, how do you rank yourself? Like, how do you judge yourself? More positively or more negatively? And then also what you may want to sit with in the upcoming days is, are you judging yourself fairly? Sometimes we can be our worst critics. We really can. So those are some things this week to sit with. Um, Throughout this week, I'm going to be putting up these quick tips, and then I'm going to come back with the next part, which is talking about values. Again, if you don't have the material, you want to get that, because there's a lot of good stuff that's coming up. This is not something that I just thought of off the top of my head. This has been worked on and created. Like, I started this last year. So, Life Skills 101 with Shy. Tag a friend, tell a friend. It's going to be here on YouTube. Share this video, and I'll be seeing you soon. The link is in this video, how you can connect to my other social medias, and enjoy your day.